Welcome back to the channel, guys. So, Caris LeVert is hurt, and as a Nets fan, it really makes me sad and upset because not only is Caris LeVert a great player, but the Nets, they were actually playing pretty good basketball with him, and he was leading the charge. So, from the start of the season, and mind you, I've watched mainly Nets games this season, watched almost every one of their games, but from the start of the season, the Nets have just been such a gritty team. They've lost some close ones, which still eat at me and will still eat at me for the rest of the season. And there were times when the Nets really pulled themselves out of holes. Caris LeVert, he is the best player of the team now, and it kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. I always knew Caris LeVert was a good player, but I didn't know that he would one day, this season actually, become the best player on the team. He's doing this by averaging 18 points per game, and he's a pretty good defender as well, and he's got underrated playmaking skills. He could rebound the ball, he could shoot. He's a pretty good ISO player as well. He's strong, he's got nice size for a shooting guard at 6'7". He's just a pretty good player with good size to him, and honestly, the Nets are going to really miss him. So let's talk about his injury for a quick second here. So when the injury first happened, I was like, oh my god, this is like Gordon Hayward's injury, because his foot was really twisted, his ankle was really twisted, and it was really turned much like Gordon Hayward's injury last season. So my thought was, well, he's going to be out for the rest of the season, and he might not be the same player. We still have yet to see Gordon Hayward show that he's the same player. He's starting off kind of slow, and that was my worry because Caris LeVert was having a breakout season, but thankfully he didn't break an ankle or anything like that. He just dislocated it, and there's only moderate damage, so that's good, and he could be back in 2 to 3 months. However, within that time span without Caris LeVert, the Nets are going to miss him, and they're going to miss him bad, and I believe that they will struggle. So let's get into why I think the Nets are going to miss Caris LeVert and why they're going to struggle without him. So first off, there's no one on the team that can replicate what he brought to the table. So let's talk about D'Angelo Russell, the guy that probably comes into most of our heads in this situation now. D'Angelo, he's had some good games this season, but he's had way more bad games when he can't shoot the ball and when he turns the ball over and is just overall reckless with the ball. Caris LeVert is a much better defender than D'Angelo, and D'Angelo, he's never really shown himself to be a good defender. He's just not a very good one. So Caris LeVert, they're going to miss his defense, his scoring, because like I said, he was pretty efficient with the ball, and D'Angelo, he's still struggling to shoot the ball at times. Going forward, I think D'Angelo, and this is for his career, I think D'Angelo is just more, I think he's more of a playmaker, and that's what his role should be, because whenever he tries to, I guess, light it up with shooting, it just backfires, and it will just overall hurt the team. I'm not trying to take a jab at D'Angelo, but he's just not meant to be the guy of an NBA team, and I love D'Angelo a lot, but it's just the truth. Alright, now moving on to the next player, Spencer Dinwiddie. So Spencer Dinwiddie, he has improved as a shooter, and I've seen him take it to the hoop a whole lot more this season, and he definitely has improved, but same problems with D'Angelo Russell when it comes to defense. He's not a very good defender, and that's why I don't see him and D'Angelo starting in the backcourt together. They're not very good defenders, both of them, and they don't really complement each other's game. We actually saw that last season, so I think Kenny Atkinson is going to keep him on the bench, and I think the starting lineup should look like this, honestly. D'Angelo Russell, a point guard, move Joe Harris to the shooting guard position, small forward DeMarre Carroll for defensive purposes, take Jared Dudley out of the starting lineup. I don't know why he's been in there for so long, and I don't know why he's been playing so many minutes. Take Jared Dudley out at the 4, put him on the bench, start Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, and then Jarrett Allen, and I think that's a pretty good starting lineup, to be honest. The one guy that I feel is going to benefit from Caris LeVert getting hurt the most is Joe Harris, to be honest, because Joe Harris, he's been the most consistent and efficient player on the Brooklyn Nets. He's right now, he's currently the best three-point shooter in the NBA. He's just the definition of consistency, and I see no reason for Kenny Atkinson to not run more plays for him, seeing as whatever he's running for him, it's working. So I don't see him becoming like a 20 points per game scorer or anything, but I do see his usage rate going up a bit more, his points per game average going up a bit more, and just him being utilized more, especially late game situations, and just overall his usage rate is gonna go up, and he's gonna benefit from it. Same thing goes for Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. Now I know he's coming off an injury, so he's still getting in the swing of things, but naturally he's going to get more minutes as well, and that's going to be pretty important for Brooklyn, because I do feel like their goal from the start of the season was to make the playoffs. I know they have a draft pick now, and they could tank, and they could try to get the #1 pick to get Zion Williamson, but I just don't think that's going to happen, because think about it. You have free agency looming, and you're going to have a good amount of cap space. So you want the team to play good, and you want the team to look decent enough to where it attracts some big name free agents. Let me give you an example. So if the team plays good with free agency coming up, any star that is considering Brooklyn, they're going to take a look at that team, and they're going to say, okay, these guys, they know how to play, they have heart, they play hard, I want to go there, I could be a big difference maker for them. And also, Brooklyn is in a pretty big market as well, so that's why I don't think they necessarily want to tank, and if anything, they're going to use that first round draft pick as trade bait for any player that they want. Let's go back to the playoffs real quick. So, do I think the Nets are going to make the playoffs without Caris LeVert? Well, no. I know he's not out for the rest of the season, but in the 2 to 3 months that he is out, he's just too important to the team, and I feel like they're just going to drop a lot of games to the point where it's going to be extremely difficult for them to get to the 8th seed to make the playoffs. They're just going to be too far down, and they're going to have to go on a winning streak, which I don't think they're really capable of going on a big winning streak, but I think that's what they're going to have to do to get back to the 8th seed when Caris LeVert does come back. And even then, when he comes back, he's going to start off slow, most likely. So there's also him getting back into the flow of things and, getting back into the swing of things. Do I think the Nets could play well without Caris LeVert? Honestly, no, because here's the thing. They're lacking defensively now. Their offense is also going to take a hit because he was an efficient scorer. So offense and defense are going to take a hit. You're running a risk of having the ball in D'Angelo Russell's hands more because, as I stated before, he's reckless with the ball at times. He's not that efficient from the field, not that consistent, and when he does have a good game, the good games are very far apart from each other, so he's not consistent. I just feel like the Nets aren't going to be anywhere near the playoffs when Caris LeVert comes back, and that just goes to show how important he is. There are good players on this Brooklyn Nets team, but most of them are just not good defenders, not good ball handlers per se. Dinwiddie's okay. D'Angelo Russell is okay when he's not trying to force things to happen. Napier, I don't really see Napier as a ball handler, to be honest. So there's not really too many ball handlers per se. There are good shooters, but there are also guys who should be good shooters but aren't good shooters. Alan Crabb. But yeah, I'm not going to keep this video dragging on. I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say here, and that's that the Nets are going to struggle without their best player, Caris LeVert, and they're going to struggle offensively and defensively, and when he comes back, he may start off a bit slow, but by then the Nets season may be already over, and it may have ended prematurely after the injury, to be honest. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my take. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about the Nets and how you think they're going to do without Caris LeVert. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video.